Good morning. Woo. Good to see all your faces. Yes, yes. Okay, so welcome to week 4 of our 7-part series, which is the 7 gifts that give you everything, which is inspired by Derek Rydell's book, The Abundance Project. And I just wanted to check in with you. How are you guys doing with the assignments? Do you, well, okay. You're honest. You have the handouts. We give the handouts every week. And if you missed a week, you can go on our website and download the handout. How did you guys do on the week that the decluttering, the releasing of old stuff like the leaves falling behind me, releasing it? Somebody told me, did anybody find any treasures when they did this project? Because somebody told me they found a check, like a substantial check, just from cleaning out their office. So you never know. Get to it. Something good can be waiting for you too. Instant manifestation. Okay, so now we've reached the topic. Take a deep breath. Of giving in. And honestly, when I first heard this, I was like, everything in me said, no, I'm not giving in, until I understood what he was talking about. So in this context, giving in is really giving into or yielding to the highest vision that is seeking to emerge through us. It's letting go of the struggle. It's letting go of our need to try to control everything, to make it happen. Letting go of the agenda, letting go of the ego-based efforting. And to begin to surrender, like we just sang before, and every Sunday, as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love, right? That's what we are knowing. That's what we're putting into practice. And even more, it is a yielding to this next level of expression, this next level of growth and unfoldment that is waiting for us to acknowledge, waiting for us to make welcome. So rather than making our good happen, efforting, making our good happen, we're going to learn to make it welcome today. Make it welcome. And so, in the book, Derek Rydell talks about, he does a lot of analogies with trees and acorns and oak trees. And in this context, he's talking about the acorn yielding to the oak of its being, to its next level of expression. Now imagine that acorn just refused to give up, just refused to yield to anything. It insisted on being an acorn, right? It's like it's safe, it's comfortable, it's calm, and I love being inside this protective shell. If it released it, it would be releasing everything it knows, and that might be akin to death. And like the caterpillar, has no awareness of what it's destined to morph into, neither does the acorn. So imagine that the acorn just insisted on being an acorn, and then when the shell began to split, maybe it's saying to itself, oh my God, I'm wounded. I'm wounded. I need to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. And maybe it calls upon the healer of the forest to come in and fix the wound and fix it and stitch it back up, right? And then if it does that, the highest it could hope for is to be the best acorn in the forest, right? Until the squirrel comes and takes it. Now, fortunately, the wisdom of Mother Nature, takes over, and the acorn says, I'm letting this go, I'm yielding, I'm sending down the sprouts, I'm anchoring my roots firmly in the soil so that I can yield to that innate potential. So I can yield to the magnificent oak tree that is seeking to emerge. Right? So, for us, remaining in this acorn consciousness keeps us locked into living this smaller life at our current level of resources. Right? And so he talks about in the book that living a life of self-protection, of safety, of comfort, limits our resources. We activate only the level of resource that will fulfill that smaller expression. But when we welcome in and prepare for that higher vision to come about, to emerge from us, we expand our resources. And we begin to activate the level of abundance that will support that higher vision. You following me? So, I say here a lot that our current level, our current experience of abundance is equal to our current level of consciousness. Our level of abundance in any area is equal to our level in consciousness. Because where does all experience start? In consciousness. And so he says, we're trying to access oak level abundance while remaining at the level of acorn consciousness. Not only is it an impossible approach, it's an inefficient one. Because you're asking for more than you're willing to become. You're asking for more than you're willing to become. So, what are you willing to become? How are you willing to serve life? How deeply are you listening to the inner wisdom that is speaking of the next level, your next level of expression? And what might you need to let go of in order for that to be realized? It's time. It's time for us to yield to our next level. Individually, and I believe collectively. To yield to our next level of expression. So let's talk about how we can do that. If I could have the first slide. We begin with where we are. Can't begin anywhere else. We begin with where we are. And we acknowledge how far we have come. Honestly, if you've been on a spiritual path for any length of time, you have made progress. Sometimes that progress is clear, sometimes it's not clear, but it's there, right? It's there. So you want to acknowledge yourself. You want to give yourself credit. Give yourself a big pat on the back, right? Good job. Good job. Look, you don't do that thing anymore. You used to do it. But, you've now learned a better response to life, and you're doing it. Maybe not all the time, but certainly more than you were. Yes, good job, right? You pat yourself on the back. Just like, good job. Acknowledge. We always want to acknowledge ourselves and how far we've come. When you have a major milestone birthday, that is sometimes alerts you to looking at how you've spent your life so far, and how far you have come. I just had one of those, so I'm like kind of reviewing every decade and all of the different versions of Victoria that I have been expressing. And, I see the growth. I see the change. I see the difference. And, it doesn't always just come about naturally. You have to work at this, right? You have to work at this. But when we do, we get to a place where we can look back and go, yeah, I did. I am responding differently to life. I'm expressing and living a higher level than I was 20, 30 years ago. So, yay, let's all do that. Okay. All right, so the next thing we want to pay attention to is allowing that higher vision to become clear in our focus. We want it to become clear. So we go within, we turn within, we ask our inner wisdom, what is my next level? What magnificent oak tree wants to emerge from this lovely little acorn? And we listen. We listen. We take time to listen, and we clarify it, and we make it real, and we write it down, and we bring ourselves into vibrational alignment with it. We bring ourselves into vibrational alignment with this vision. Now, if you're having any trouble getting clear about the vision for your next level of being, then you may want to, most years in January, I teach a class that's Living Your Vision, which helps people get real clear about their vision and how to move forward. So that might be something you'd like to access. All right, so the next thing we want to pay attention to is to become alert to the resistance within ourselves that is keeping that higher potential, that next level from being realized. That resistance within ourselves. And really that's what we're kind of doing with this whole series, right? We are finding and releasing those metaphorical kinks in the garden hose that's blocking the flow of water. We are finding and releasing the mental, emotional, even physical patterns that's blocking the natural flow of abundant good in our lives. That's what we're doing with this whole series. And as Nathan said last week, we want to make sure the hose is connected to the right spigot. Right? Where is that hose connected? You want to make sure that it's to the infinite source, that's where it is. Okay, so we want to look at where there may be resistance to doing what is necessary to support that emerging vision, to living that next level of being. What is resisting? Okay, so, if you're human, for most of us, when something like that, we get a vision, sometimes it's like so much, it's like, oh my God, that's just too much. I don't want to work that hard. It's going to require way too much. I don't want to work that hard. So we pull back. Or maybe it's, it's just so big. We know that living this expansive life is going to require us to step way outside of our comfort zone. And maybe we're not ready for it. Next month, maybe next year, I'll be more comfortable with stepping outside of my comfort. And of course, we know how that works, right? We know what happens. And also to remember something that, I don't know who said this, but it is true, that if you want something new in your life, you must be willing, if you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. So the handout that you'll get in a few minutes at the end of the talk will kind of help you through this. That's what these handouts are for, is to help you personalize and work through these things. So really take a look at that. Okay, then the next thing is that we make that higher vision welcome. We want to make it welcome. Now, this means different things to different people, but in general, it's like creating the space where we are, in essence, saying, yes, I've been expecting you. I have created room for you. I have cleaned my house. I have tended my garden. I have prepared a nourishing meal for you. Come in. So let's take a look at those different metaphors one at a time and see what there might be for us in that. Okay, so cleaning the house. Cleaning the house. This is cleaning out the mental and, energetic garbage in our consciousness that is creating resistance. Those old beliefs, those old concepts, feelings, ideas that run contrary to what it is that we say we want. That contradict living an abundant life. So that means we need to explore our consciousness. What are we thinking? And maybe not on a everyday, we're not conscious of it, but on a deeper level, what are we thinking? So if your idea of abundance, and it means different things to different people, is increasing your experience of prosperity, you want to check in about what you believe about money and what you believe about wealthy people. There's a lot of negative talk swirling around about really rich people, right? So you want to ask yourself, what do I believe about that? Do I believe that really rich people are selfish and corrupt and out of touch with people who are suffering? Do I believe that money is the problem and that those who have it are creating misery for others? And let me tell you, I have to work with this too. I have to clean this out of my consciousness because it's really easy to get into this, to think that that's the problem, and to think that all rich people are either not caring, out of touch, corrupt, that money is more important than anything else. But you see, what we're doing there is that we're creating a hostile environment for prosperity to live. And we're actually repelling the very thing we want because we're making it the enemy. Now, are there selfish, out-of-touch, corrupt billionaires? Absolutely. I think we could name a few. But are there also, generous, philanthropic billionaires who deeply care about people? Yes, and I can name some of those too. On the other hand, are there self-centered, mean-spirited, poorer people? Yeah. And are there generous, kind, loving, poor people? Yes. So we want to take people individually, right? And not clump them into these categories that really is the filtering of the collective consciousness. This is emptying out the garbage of the collective consciousness so that we can think for ourselves, so that we can find a deeper truth, right? That might be true for some, not true for me. I'm going to find my own truth. I was thinking about this the other day. So if a billionaire walked in our door, looking for heart, looking for spiritual nourishment, looking to connect with spiritual community, would we slam the door in their face? Say, no, you're not welcome here. No. we would welcome them in. Here, we've made a space for you, just like we do anybody else, right? And then after that person had been here for a few months, you know, I might say, well, you've noticed the lumpy, bumpy driveway. We've been trying to pave that thing for a few years. Would you like to make a contribution? So the same is true for any area of abundance that we're looking to increase. So maybe for you, abundance is an abundance of friends. Or maybe it's one life partner. Or maybe it's an abundance of vibrant health. Or maybe it's a project that you're trying to get off the ground, or an enterprise that you're trying to launch. So you want to check your thinking about it, because if you're saying that that's what you want and yet you're complaining about how bad the economy is, how difficult it is to get anything started, how everybody says no to you, how there's no good single men or women left in the world, how, you know, you keep running into roadblocks or you're too tired to make it happen. Do you see how you're repelling the actual thing that you want? So we want to create an atmosphere, tend our garden, that is conducive to the thing that we say that we want, right? You guys following me? Okay. All right. So next is the soil. Really nurturing, cultivating the soil in our garden. So that means embracing a consciousness of gratitude, of counting our joys, of possibility, focus, expansive thinking. This is the way that we cultivate our soil. So, right, all of this helps us to shift our thinking and our energy in a different way. So again, we want to check in with ourselves. Where are we focused the majority of the day? Are we focused the majority on what's going wrong or what's going right? Do we wake up every morning and connect in our heart and say, how can I be of service? Do we go to sleep at night naming all of the things that we're grateful for that day? These are ways that we nurture our garden. We water it and we nurture it. All right? Again, these will be on your handout too. All right. Then the last one is preparing a nourishing meal. What does that mean? It means creating a daily practice that helps us generate the thoughts, the feelings, and the overall vibration as if we were living that expansive life, as if we were living now that expansive life. So meditation, visualization, affirmative prayer, again, a regular practice of gratitude, whatever it is that you do to nurture your spirit and align yourself and create that atmosphere within you that is conducive to being in alignment with what it is you say that you want. It could be nurturing, spirit in nature, or chanting, or crystal healing bowls. There's so many beautiful, wonderful ways that we can nurture our spirit and get us in that place. It's just doing it on a consistent basis, right? It's doing it on a consistent basis. All right, so if I could have the greeters pass out the handouts now. Also, if you haven't received an envelope that is a great container for all of these handouts and you want one, raise your hand and the greeter will give you one of those, because we've created these envelopes, so pieces of paper that are just there. Yeah, Maria wants one. Anybody else want a little folder that holds these pieces of paper? There's a few out here. Okay. Oh, thank you, Chris, for helping with that. Yeah, it holds it all together. Okay. So what we're talking about here is living consciously. Yes? You know, we're done with living by default. That's going to just keep us repeating in circles and circles. Done with living by default. We're living consciously. We're living consciously. And we are creating a welcoming environment that is conducive to a joyous, expansive life, to living a joyous and expansive life in alignment with that next level that is seeking to emerge through and as us. All right, anybody else raise their hand, their gains? There's one down here. A couple more. And if you didn't get it, they'll be on the, on the foyer, on the credenza. So you can pick one of those up. This just holds it all. Okay, so we have an affirmation that we're going to do together to bring this in. Excuse me, I got a frog here. Remember also the Wednesday meditations. I record a meditation that drops on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on our podcast, and that really helps us embody the ideas that we're talking about. So check that out. Okay, let's take a nice deep breath together. And together, I am creating a welcoming space for my next level of growth to be realized. And so it is. Namaste. Hi, it's Reverend Victoria here. I'm at Unity Center of Peace with our house band, Bright Matter.
Hello.
Yeah, and if this video has inspired you or empowered you or opened your heart, opened your consciousness, or even just given you hope, we ask that you support what we're doing here by making a donation today, going to unitychapelhill.org or clicking the link below. And we thank you.
Thank
Thank you.